So welcome everyone. I'd like to call this meeting to order if I could please. We've got a really big agenda.
Can I use that chair to sit by my
You may
neighbor?
certainly sit in that chair, absolutely. Okay?
Very important, yes, thank you.
No, that's fine. And if there are a couple of empty chairs, if people want to sit in them, that's perfectly all right. I'd like to call the meeting of Tuesday, September 16th, 2025 to order. Acting under the provisions of the Code of the Town of Barnstable, Chapter 112-1 through 112-7, the Historical Commission will hold a public hearing on the following applications. These applications have been determined significant and referred to a public hearing. This meeting, the Barnstable Historical Commission, is being recorded and broadcast on the Town of Barnstable's Government Access Channel. In accordance with Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 30A, Section 20, the chair must inquire whether anyone else is recording this meeting, and if so, to please make their presence known. Anybody recording? Good, seeing none. Thank you. We ask that during the afternoon's proceedings, cell phones be turned off and conversations other than those before the commission take place outside this room. When an application is called, please come to the table and sign in here on the sign-in sheet, which is in front of these two gentlemen. All interested parties and abutters should also come forward at that time, and all those who wish to speak regarding the application must also sign in. Our first order of business is to take a roll call of attendance. Nancy Shoemaker.
Here.
Cheryl Powell is absent. Jack Kay. Here. Barbara DiBiase is absent. John Richmond.
Here.
Is here. Andrew Fisher.
Here.
Is here. Robert Frazee is here. Excellent. We have a very full agenda today. I believe staff who is not here called it robust. I called it ambitious. It's necessary. I hope we can stick to our program and go as smoothly and reasonably and rapidly as possible to get to the finish line, because we have some administrative business for the commission to conclude before we lose the room as well. With that in mind, I have taken a little bit of the chair's prerogative to rearrange the order of hearings slightly. One or two requests that I had I want to honor, but also in terms of the flow of the meeting, I think it will go much more expeditiously if we switch things around a little bit, so please bear with me. The very first one will be 789 South Main Street, Centerville, Sarah T. Connolly Trusts, map 185, parcel 014, built 1870, full demolition, demolish the existing structures. I hope I called it right. That is you, right? Good.
That's correct. Thank you.
Just being careful. I'd like to ask for a vote to open a public hearing. So moved. Second?
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, we have a public hearing going, and Michael and your comrade here, if you'd like to introduce yourselves and start. I want to say thank you for your July 7th letter, which I have read, which we had not read prior to our July meeting, when we as a commission made a decision that all partial and full demolitions we were going to bring in for hearings. But I want to share with you that I think the rationale you have in there is valid for us for today without we don't want a hearing part, because obviously you're in a hearing. But if that helps you, be more expeditious in your own behalf and get on the road to your hockey game, that's fine.
Super. Thank you, Chair Frazee, members of the board. Michael Schultz on behalf of the applicant, Sarah T. Conley, trustee of 789 South Main Street Realty Trust. With me, I have John Barker from PSD Architects. So we have a property on South Main Street in Centerville, and referencing the letter that I did prepare for the commission, and in turning to, if you're able to, Erica, probably Exhibit 3, which is really the interesting analysis, and I'll kind of skip right to it. This structure has been swallowed up by additions, and we went back to 1924, and we see the structure on a land court plan, and that's the red. And that same structure appears in 1971 on the field assessing card for the town of Barnstable. They're identical in 1924 and 1971, and then I did some research with assessing and obtained other field cards, and what we can see the evolution is the structure evolves, it's swallowed up. So by 2024, the green outline has swallowed what existed in 1924 and 1971. So it's no longer in existence. It actually is kind of neat. In one of the photographs, you can see the outdoor, what used to be the deck, is inside on the lowest level. Probably there it is on the bottom right. And so the applicant is respectfully requesting, I did work with staff, there are no, it's not listed on any inventory, state, national. There haven't been any associations with important people living at the house. It's actually, if you wanted to get your steps in, going in and out of the house, you would certainly do so. You walk up 10 steps to get into the kitchen just alone, as well as going into the house. So with that, I would respectfully turn it over to the commission. We're seeking a full demolition of the house. If you have any questions for either John or myself, please feel free. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. I think that the point of the building being virtually swallowed up, the original one, is germane. The other question is a valid one of relative significance historically or in terms of architecture. And I think you covered that. I went by and looked at the house today, and unfortunately, there was police detail right in front of the house. A little tricky to slow down long enough and eyeball it without getting arrested, but I got the idea. And Google Maps is a good friend, and just sharing with everybody, hi Barbara, everybody on the commission and elsewhere, if you want to investigate a house, sometimes it's valuable to look and see when it was last sold. And remember that Zillow doesn't always show photos of recent listings, but some of the other ones leave them up for a long time. And you can cruise through the inside of a house and see their idea of an exterior of the building and become familiar with it in a meaningful way. And so I tried to do all of those things. I'd be interested to hear what any of our commissioners wish to say about this. My gut feel is that if it were the building next door, I would be very excited. And it's not, which I believe is the Charles Ailing homestead. But this house does not excite me very much.
I did forget to, there was a rendering, I'm sorry, that I did send earlier today of what will be at the property.
Yeah, no surprise it will be an elegant and substantial home.
Could you
The
hold
site
that
commands
up,
it.
and Erica, could you go to the Form B picture? Just so we have an
I
idea of
actually have
comparison.
The first one?
Second one,
Second.
which has actually been moved to first.
I meant
So
of
you have a
the
mistake.
Form B, it would have the original.
Yep. I don't, this one does not have
Very
a Form
original.
B, but I can show you the regular
Yeah,
picture.
there's not an inventory form for this property, which was Michael's point, is that it's not been inventoried.
Okay.
Which speaks a bit to its significance, or at least the provability of any significance on our behalf.
There's the exterior.
Yeah, you can see water views, these are basically the real photos that I'm talking about, I'm sure they are. The closest thing to something resembling early architecture may lie somewhere within the top right photo, I think, but I wouldn't want to place any big bets on how much of it.
Correct, there's a portion of that front gambrel
Mhm.
profile that it's indicative from the plans that
Yep.
that is part of the original structure. That's all that's left of what was originally there.
Sure.
And our new design is we're capturing the
Yep.
gambrel profile.
Well, that's both attractive and a very practical thing to do from a volume and function point of view, and they all were aware of that. Any other questions from commissioners about this? Any other thoughts? Nancy, anything? No? I'd be willing to go forward with a vote and close the hearing if that's appropriate. Is anybody in the
Heard from the
public?
public, though.
Well, I'm just asking that right now, but thank you. Anybody from the public wish to speak on this? I don't believe we have any public comment on it in writing, no? So I would entertain a motion to close the public hearing. And a second?
Seconded.
All in favor of closing the public hearing?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing is closed. I need somebody to please read the motions for 789 South Main Street. A volunteer with motions in front of
I'll
them.
try that.
Thank you, Jack.
I move that after review and consideration of public testimony, the application and associated materials, the significant buildings, this is 789, correct?
Yeah, that's right.
789, South Main Street, Centerville is a preferably preserved significant building.
A second for the motion?
I'll second it.
Thank you very much. An aye vote will impose an 18-month delay. A nay vote will not impose an 18-month delay. Nancy Shoemaker.
Nay.
Cheryl's not here. Jack.
Nay.
Barbara DiBiase.
Abstain.
Thank you.
Because I missed the
John?
presentation.
That's all right. John Richmond.
Nay.
Andrew Fisher.
Nay.
Robert Frazee. Nay. So move on to if the motion failed. Yeah,
I move that in accordance with section 112-3F of the Barnstable Historical Commission determines that the full demolition of the building located 789 South Main Street, Centerville is not detrimental to the historical, cultural, and architectural heritage or resources of the town.
a second for that?
I'll second that.
Thank you. An aye vote determines that the full demolition of the single-family structure is not detrimental and no demolition delay will be imposed. Nancy Shoemaker.
Aye.
Cheryl Powell's not here. Jack Kay.
Aye.
Barbara DiBiase. Abstaining. John Richmond.
Aye.
Andrew Fisher.
Aye.
Robert Frazee. Aye. You're set.
Thank you very much.
Who is he playing tonight?
It's a practice
Oh,
in
okay.
Providence, Rhode Island.
Oh, that's a long distance.
It's very long
You can
distance.
tell I believe in you. That's good. It's in a good cause.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Thank you all.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All righty.
Are there any more motions?
I was going to move. So.
I got motions.
As I was saying, I'm gonna be working out of order a little bit. I'm gonna call 1056 Main Street, Osterville next. I think this will go fairly quickly, which is one of the reasons I want to do that. And the other is that someone had asked if I would, and I said sure. So, United Methodist Church, 1056 Main Street, Osterville, map 118, parcel 014, built 1950. Partial demolition, replace 3 small windows with 2 larger copper-topped windows to match another existing picture window.
We need you to sign in.
And, yeah, I need you to come up and sign in there, and I would entertain a motion to open a public hearing on this.
So moved.
In a second.
Seconded.
All in favor of the public hearing open? Aye. Any opposed? Public hearing is open. Jack, you're here to represent the Methodist Church?
Yep,
Excellent.
it's on Pembroke Right. Yeah, I'm Jack Cotton, John Cotton, representing the Osterville United Methodist Church. This property is one building in from the corner of Pond Street and Main Street in Osterville.
Is it
It's the site
possible
of the
to ask
Rainbows.
him to sit down?
Uh-oh, she's asking you if you could sit down.
Sorry,
I just can't get him on camera. Thank you.
talk while I sit, well.
I hear you.
Yes, anyway, this is the site of the Rainbow's End thrift shop. People from all over the town are served by this store, where you can give them to buy a nice outfit for $10. You can buy furniture donated from people in the village. It really serves a great public good. These 3 windows in the front of the building are currently rotted out and need to be replaced. Our plan is to replace them with 2 4x6 divided light windows. The middle window will disappear. There's a 3rd window on the side of the building. It's on the next slide. You can see it back there. That's also being replaced, but they're all gonna look just like that when they're divided light 4x6 windows. The one in the back is flush with the building. The 2 in the front facing the road will have a slight bump out with copper tops to make them look more beautiful. Anyway, we think it's a benefit to the neighborhood, it's a benefit to the community, it's gonna make it more visible for the people who patronize the store and save lots of money on furniture and furnishings, so we hope you will give it favorable consideration.
Thank you, Jack. I drove by today, I looked at it online, perhaps some of you have as well. I don't consider the building to be historically or architecturally significant personally. I don't think the changes are detrimental to it personally. I'm familiar with the neighborhood and the corner there of Pond Street and Main. I used to live near there, and the architecture on that corner is not something that we would, any of us probably go to the mat for, let me just say politely. They all perform a function, you know, not dissing anyone there, but I don't think this is something that I would guide you all to have a lengthy discussion over, but I'm very willing to hear what you have to say, and I also want to know if there's anyone from the public who wanted to speak to this matter. I don't see anybody. Commissioners? Any thoughts?
No issues?
Any of you? No? Well, then I would be okay with closing the public hearing if I could have a motion for that.
So moved.
And a second? All in favor of closing the public hearing? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing is closed. Reading of the motion for the United Methodist Church, 1056 Main Street, Osterville. Jack, you want to go for a second try?
I'll do it.
You're great at it.
All right, sir. I move that after review and consideration of public testimony, the application and associated materials the significant building 1056 Main Street, Osterville, is a preferably preserved significant building.
A second to the motion?
Seconded.
Thank you, Andrew. An aye vote will impose an 18-month delay. A nay vote will not impose an 18-month delay. Nancy Shoemaker.
Nay.
Barbara DiBiase.
Nay.
John Richmond.
Nay.
Jack Kay.
Nay.
Cheryl Powell is absent. Andrew Fisher.
Nay.
Robert Frazee, nay. So down to the bottom of the page, Jack.
All right, sir. I move that in accordance with the section 112-3F, the Barnstable Historical Commission determines that the partial demolition of the building located 1056 Main Street, Osterville is not detrimental to the historical, cultural, and architectural heritage or resources of the town.
A second for that?
Seconded.
Thank you, Andrew. An aye vote determines that the partial demolition of the single-family structure is not detrimental. No demolition delay imposed. Nancy Shoemaker.
Aye.
Barbara DiBiase.
Aye.
John Richmond.
Aye.
Jack Kay.
Aye.
Cheryl is absent. Andrew.
Aye.
Robert Frazee, aye. You're good to go, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. And let's see how we're doing here. Okay. Is there anyone here for 150 C Street?
Yes,
I would love to hear from you.
mine is lengthy, I'll warn you.
I
If you wanna leave me for last, I'm okay.
No, I don't. I want to reward you for your excellent letter, among other things. And I also, I'm showing a level of optimism that neither you need to take a long time to convince us, nor does the commission need a long time to be convinced. But
I
it's
felt bad about.
that's okay. It's a bet I'm placing, and I'm not saying I'm right, guys, so
No,
don't.
I mean on having eight people on the agenda, but basically,
No
this is,
worries.
I have paper copies of all the,
Oh, good for you.
so you can follow along. Erica will probably, and I wanna say,
So let me just read this into the record, Mr.
Yes, sir.
Trill, and then we'll get it going properly here. So Angela and Jeffrey Terrell, 150 C Street, Hyannis, map 307, parcel 106, built 1936. Partial demolition, rear wall and windows to accommodate a new addition. And I would entertain a motion to open a public hearing on this.
I so moved.
And a second?
Seconded.
Thank you very much. All in favor of opening a public hearing?
Aye.
Any opposed? No opposed. We are in a public hearing. Thank you very much. Mr. Terrell, jump in.
okay, first I wanna say thank you to Erica. She's been so helpful, even the font color on her emails, amazing, right? I am the applicant. This is a hardship appeal for 150 C Street. I'm the owner, Jeffrey Turl. And the sole purpose of this addition is to install a elevator to get access, wheelchair access to all 3 floors and on grade. My wife currently cannot do the stairs. In the corner, I have my neighbor Jane and Lou. They can attest to it. And Lou is also a realtor. We tried to find an alternate place to live, and we needed a 2-family with one of the units on 1 floor, and we just couldn't make that happen. Basically, what I tried to do, the addition, first of all, is this is the rear of the house, and it's not viewable from a public way. So it's a right angle structure that's coming out of the back of this thing. And we maintain, you see that little shed roof there, we make a 90-degree corner to maintain that appearance. We went to the flat roof for a whole bunch of reasons. This is a 1 3/4 story home. And the addition needs to be a full 2 stories to accommodate the cab accessories on the elevator. So we went with a flat roof. It gives them access to the elevator hoistway. My neighbor James has a tomato garden right on that side, and I'm maximizing the insulation, the direct sunlight to her garden. I believe we've made it congruent with the 1936 period of architecture. We're talking about a widow's walk, which is certainly with coastal properties. And if you, can you look, Erica? If you'll see to the site plan,
Try not to touch the screen.
I will not touch it.
There, it just changes things when you
Yeah, I
do.
know. Okay, there's a notch right here this 10-inch offset, that breaks the sight line from C Street. Passerby can't see much of the rear of the addition. So it's not really visible from a public way. We're putting in a scullery, which is a throwback to the Victorian era, has a reduced disease. We need it as a working kitchen, and we have no pantry. The top floor of the bedroom is a very large, wide bedroom. It will accommodate a hospital bed, a second bed, a Hoyer lift, and a recliner chair. And that balcony that you see in the top there, right there where Erica's pointing, the baluster and gate can be removed so that you can hoist in a hospital bed or a Hoyer lift right through that opening there. A single garage, which is sort of in keeping with the that era, you know, a stay-at-home, single car family. The open breezeway on the right-hand side, what it does is it ties the two structures together, which is something that zoning really wanted, because this is a non-conforming two-family in a single family zone. Breezeways, as you know, Frank Lloyd Wright made them sort of popular back around 1900, so you could get air and light through there. But my main reason was, if you had this cottage next to this tall block, we'll say, you need something to make the elevation not look so severe. Windows are 6/6 colonial. I think what else is there? No, I think that's it. It's not a tear down of mansionization. It's purely for us. We want to stay in this home. It's a superb location.
So you may have heard me say earlier in the hearings that we made a decision a month or 2 months ago to bring all partial and full demolitions to hearings.
Yes.
And, you know, some could have been approvable without a hearing perhaps before that, but we, as an abundance of caution, are bringing people in to explain their programs to us. When I first saw the plan for this, without your letter from the 15th, I was a little distressed about the flat roof box, frankly, even though you're right, it's not fully frontally visible from the street and it is behind the building. Your explanation of it is enlightening and very helpful. Not just your personal need as a family, but the thought that went into designing it and considering it, I think, is pretty remarkable.
Well, thank you.
So do either of your neighbors wish to speak about this? You're just being here is fine. I just want to invite you, if you do, you need to come up and just quickly sign in. But, I'm not trying to deprive you of any opportunity to do that if you want to, but you don't have to. It's up to you. There you go.
This is Lou Wild, my neighbor and realtor friend.
I live 2 doors down, and I just here to give my approval and
Sure.
moral support.
Well, we appreciate that. You know, the public comment, and especially from neighbors, is really important when something's being modified. It helps us understand things better. Thank you. Appreciate that.
We did everything to appease our neighbors.
Oh, that's a good strategy.
Jane is a nurse, and she's helped my wife out as well. And I insisted on giving her as much sunlight as I could.
There you go. I guess you got to share the tomatoes? Well, you don't have to answer that. Never mind. Any commissioners have questions or comments on this?
No.
You guys good? Okay.
I just wanted to say too that I fully support this.
Thank you.
They're wonderful neighbors. Jeff and Angela are wonderful neighbors.
Thank you.
Very thoughtful people.
Appreciate hearing that. I would entertain a motion to close the public hearing in that case.
So moved.
Second.
Seconded.
All in favor of closing a public hearing?
Aye.
Any opposed? None opposed? The hearing is closed. We go to reading the motions for 150 C Street, which is not where it belongs because we have this published in the right way originally. Okay, here. Well, I just want to make sure I'm looking at it, but it is this one. Could
I'll
I
be
get-
happy to do that.
Thank you, Jack.
I move that after review and consideration of public testimony, the application and associated materials, the significant building, 150 C Street, Hyannis, is a preferably preserved significant building.
A second for
I'll
that?
second that.
Okay, an I vote will impose an 18-month delay, a nay vote will not impose an 18-month delay. MC Shoemaker.
Nay.
Barbara DiBiase.
Absolutely nay.
John Richmond.
Nay.
Jack Kay.
Nay.
Cheryl's absent. Andrew Fisher.
Nay.
Robert Frazee, nay. So we go to the bottom of the page, Jack.
I move that in accordance with section 112-3F, the Barnstable Historical Commission determines that the partial demolition of the building located 150 C Street, Hyannis, is not detrimental to the historical, cultural, and architectural heritage or resources of the town.
A second?
Second that.
Thank you very much. An I vote determines that the partial demolition of a single-family structure is not detrimental and no demolition delay will be imposed. Nancy Shoemaker.
Aye.
Barbara DiBiase. John Richmond.
Aye.
Jack Kay.
Aye.
Cheryl Powell absent. Andrew Fisher.
Aye.
Robert Frazee, aye. You're good to go, sir.
We are
Good luck with your
very
project.
thankful to the whole commission.
Well, you did
If
a
my
good
wife were
job.
here, she would say thank you as well. Thank you. God
You will
bless you.
for us.
Good luck. Good luck to you, sir.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. You're a sweetheart. Keep it up. You guys are blessed to have it.
Playing hopscotch with our agenda as I promised I was going to, I'd like to call 246 Ocean Ave Katuitt next. Is there someone here for that? Hi, yes there is.
Mr. Chairman,
What are we doing?
may I ask a question?
Yes, sir.
My project was first on agenda, is skipping around, so,
I'm skipping around because I'm trying to get through the ones that I know are gonna be fast.
Okay.
If I'm creating a logjam for you, I can see about having you be next. Other people had asked me to be earlier.
okay.
You okay with that?
I guess so, yeah, but, yeah, it's mine's simple. I thought you would go by the agenda
Well,
schedule.
usually I do, but I don't usually have 8 hearings to try and get through. I try to do it in the most efficient way I can for the whole group. It's my
Okay,
thing, all right? I'll try and move you up, okay?
okay, I wish you could have told me up front.
Well, I did announce that earlier, actually, at the beginning of the meeting.
At least change the order, so I would know that I wouldn't have to ask the questions.
Okay,
Thank you.
thanks, Stephen. So we are at, yes, Ocean View LLC, 246 Ocean View Avenue, Katuitt, map 033, parcel 03/001, build 1850, partial demolition, demo rear roof of garage and add dormers. And I would entertain a motion to open a public hearing for this. Second?
Second.
All in favor of opening a public hearing?
Aye.
Any opposed? None opposed? Public hearing is open. Mr. McAllister, good day, sir.
Good afternoon, Chairman Frazee. Here representing Mr. Richard Benditson for a partial demolition, on the back of the home. So this is kind of a kitty corner angle. The street is further down the driveway to the left. All work is going to be on the back side of this building. And it was designed, so the home, Attorney Schultz used the word enveloped, or no, what did he, swallowed?
Swallowed.
Swallowed up.
was a
I
good
think
word, yeah.
this home since 1850 has been swallowed a little bit through the years. And this shed dormer, and there's one in the back that we'll be removing, were approved by zoning in 1995. Here we go. Yep. So everything you see here was approved in 1995. This first floor structure in the back has been there. It's an old horse stable. So the proposed addition will be second story over this single story structure here. This jogs behind the existing structure about 12 feet. So it'll be a second story structure with a A-frame gable roof, and the ridge will, I wasn't planning on having this be a pointer, but it will be a ridge will die in below the main ridge. So none of this from the street will be seen, except for if you're coming down Ocean View from a distance, you'll see some wall and roof line as such. So as you continue to scroll, so the one on the upper right is what we were just looking at from the back, where her cursor is. And The one on the upper left is if you were in the neighbor's yard, if there were no 12-foot bushes, or shrubbery, I should say, which I planted when I was a senior in high school, by the way. It would happen,
Like a
so.
couple of weeks ago, right?
Not quite. So the idea of the gable with the architect was to maybe make it a little more in keeping with what would be historically accurate for the home. This home has multiple rubber roofs based upon just the sheer mass on the main structure that have been there for an awful long time. I can't quite say when. I asked the homeowner for photos. He could not come up with any. I could not find anything. I did some due diligence like Attorney Schultz did in his project, but could not come up with anything to show you that this thing's been swallowed up a little bit. So we're just trying to bring it, what we have here, maybe a little more historically accurate, which is really just a basic gable structure. And the clients, the folks behind are also clients, and they are aware of this proposed project as well.
So you're gonna lose that second story dormer?
Correct, the one on the back.
Yeah.
Correct, yeah.
You're gonna kill the roof in below the chimney?
Correct, below that cupola, that's,
Yeah,
yep, so you will not be able to see that whatsoever from, I don't know, maybe a
Yeah.
270-degree radius.
I drove by today, I would agree with that. Yeah, it's
Terrible
nice.
view from the home, I know.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Very fortunate. So in any event,
Great location.
that is the plan, and that'll be,
Yeah.
these will be beams to hold everything up, and it'll be a fairly wide open structure inside.
Thank you. Any members of the public here to speak on this at all? I don't believe we have any correspondence on it. It's nice of you to mention the neighbors behind. It's good they're clients, they have a clue what's going on, and otherwise they would be here or writing letters or something probably. Commissioners, do you have any questions about this?
Do you have a structural engineer that's handling the connections to the existing building?
I do. His name's Eric Cedarholm. He's from Katuitt. He's a man in very strong desire. He's a busy fella.
Yeah.
I know other folks in the room utilize him as well, and we have a stamped set of plans.
Just curious.
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
Zach's line of work, so I get that.
Aha, okay, very good.
All right, thank you. Well, any other comments from commissioners? Anyone else? All right, then I would entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
I will move to close the public hearing.
In a second. All righty, all in favor of closing the public hearing, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None opposed, the public hearing is closed. We go straight to motions for 246 Ocean View LLC. Jack, you still on the hook?
I don't care, let's go.
Go for it.
I move that after review and consideration of public testimony, the application and associated materials, the significant building 246 Ocean Avenue, Katuitt, is a preferably preserved significant building.
And a second?
Seconded.
Thank you. An aye vote will impose an 18-month delay, a nay vote will not impose an 18-month delay. Nancy Shoemaker.
Nay.
Barbara DiBiase.
Nay.
John Richmond.
Nay.
Jack Kay.
Nay.
Cheryl Powell, absent. Andrew Fisher.
Nay.
Robert Frazee, nay. Jack, bottom of the page, sir.
I move that in accordance with section 112-3F, the Barnstable Historical Commission determines that the partial demolition of the building located 246 Ocean View Avenue, Katuitt, is not detrimental to the historical, cultural, and architectural heritage or resources of the town.
Second, please.
Second.
Thank you, Barbara. An aye vote determines that the partial demolition of the single-family structure is not detrimental. No demolition delay would be imposed. Nancy Shoemaker.
Aye.
Barbara DiBiase.
Aye.
John Richmond.
Aye.
Jack Kay.
Aye.
Cheryl Powell, absent. Andrew Fisher.
Aye.
Robert Frazee, aye. There you go, sir. Thank you much.
Thank you all.
Now, Mr. Cook, you are here for 686 South Main, is that correct, sir?
Correct.
Any objection for my jumping to, let's do that.
Okay.
All right. You're correct, you were originally listed first. I was hoping we'd get through sticky ones last, not first, but I think this is going fine, so I'm not gonna stress too much about it. Didn't mean to hang you up. Catherine Sherry, 686 South Main Street, Centerville, map 186, parcel 037/001, built 1939. Full demolition, demolish the existing structure. could I please have a motion to open a public hearing?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
All in favor of opening the public hearing?
Aye.
Any opposed? None opposed? We're in a public hearing, Mr. Cox, sir.
Right, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Members, Steve Cook from Couture Bay Design, project designer. With me is CJ Riley, project builder. This house is hip roof cottage, built in 1939. We're requesting a full demolition and rebuild to match the existing footprint and style. Right now, the house is on piers, which are failing. There's no insulation. Look, some of the timbers underneath are rotting out. It's 2x4 rafters on it, and a lot of the plumbing lines and septic lines are all exposed. See, there's photographs there.
2x4 rafters.
2x4 rafters. Yeah. So it's you can see them right there, so exposed. So I have photographs here to pass around if you want anything. I provided Erica with a new house plan that matches the same footprint, matches the same style. You see in the back, so we're just gonna tear it down, rebuild in the same footprint. 7/12 roof pitch, shingles. In the front, there's a porch on the right-hand side with gliding windows. Probably reuse those gliding windows. New front door.
We're gonna make it white again.
Will the rafter ears still show in the modified version?
No.
It wouldn't look right if you brought out 2x6s or 2x8s, but you could always notch them on the ends, they're only 2x4 out there. I'm just saying. I'm not asking you to. I want to point out, and you're very kind to offer what's coming next, but you know and I know that if we grant you a full okay on a full demolition, what you do next technically is your business, not ours. We're not a historic district commission. We're a historical commission. That's just kind of a reminder for all of us here, but it is visible from the street. It is a 1930s structure. It is original. I find it pleasantly reassuring. The new one will look a lot like the old one. And from the distance from the street, rafter ears or not, you're not really going to know or see much of a shocking difference, in my opinion.
Setback on a hill, probably 200 yards off the street.
Gotta be, right. And I mean, it is visible. It's nice. It looks great back there, but that's very much the case. Commissioners, any comments, questions? Anybody in the public
Are
have
the
a?
windows changing?
Yeah, some of the windows, see those gliding windows on the right-hand side, we're gonna keep those. The front door will change, and then there's like a picture flanker on the front that will go to 2 double hungs. And other than that, it's all double hungs on the side.
Those slide-by windows are pretty new, so we're gonna reuse them.
Sure. And so the left side, as we see it in this elevation, will roughly match, be symmetrical with the other side. Okay. Great. Good question. Anybody from the public have any comments or questions? I must have asked that already. I don't recall. I'm getting a little redundant. I would entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
I so move.
Second? Second. Alrighty. All in favor of closing the public hearing? Say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None opposed? Public hearing is closed. I need to find the right page, but maybe my reader is already there. We're at 686 South Main Street. And almost there. There we are. Jack, do you have that in front of you?
I do.
You're still in full voice?
All right. I move that after review and consideration of public testimony, the application and associated materials, the significant building, 686 South Main Street, Centerville, is a preferably preserved significant building.
A second for that?
I'll second that.
Thank you very much. An aye vote will impose an 18-month delay. A nay vote will not impose an 18-month delay. Nancy Shoemaker.
Nay.
Cheryl Powell, not here. Jack Kay.
Nay.
Barbara DiBiase.
Nay.
John Richmond.
Nay.
Andrew Fisher.
Nay.
Robert Frazee. Nay. Bottom of the page, Jack.
I move that in accordance with section 112-3F, the Barnstable Historical Commission determines that the full demolition of the building located 686 South Main Street, Centerville, is not detrimental to the historical, cultural, and architectural heritage or the resources of the town.
And a second,
I'll
please.
second that.
Thank you, Nancy. An aye vote determines that the full demolition of the single-family structure is not detrimental and no demolition delay will be imposed. Nancy Shoemaker.
Aye.
Cheryl Powell, not here. Jack Kay.
Aye.
Barbara DiBiase.
Aye.
John Richmond.
Aye.
Andrew Fisher.
Aye.
Robert Frazee. Aye. You're good to go, sir.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
All right.
Thank you for your
Nice to see
patience.
Thank you, guys. Yeah, thanks for hanging in there. I appreciate it. So I had originally thought that we would then go to uh, 1600 Santuit Road, Santuit Newtown Road, Katuitt. All right.
That's a different one.
Christine and James Curtis, 1600 Santuit Newtown Road, Katuitt, map 024, parcel 017, built 1890. Partial demolition, remove and rebuild the second floor to enlarge the existing bedrooms and add a full bathroom. Could I entertain a motion, please, to open a public hearing? Second?
Second.
All in favor of opening a public hearing?
Aye.
Any opposed? We are in public hearing. Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hi.
Tell us what you're up to.
So, my wife and I bought this house, and, you know, it's a great, actually, little house, but it's really cramped on the upstairs. I'm 6'3", and I am gonna have more bruises than I care to mention walking up through there. We're really gonna try to preserve the original footprint of the house, and we're just trying to make it more like a colonial, so we can have adequate bedrooms upstairs, because they're really like little attic bedrooms. There's really no distinguished closets, and we thought it would be simpler to tie in another bathroom above the existing plumbing to connect in. The house is already updated with a Title V septic. It's got a new electrical panel in there. We're gonna try to preserve the normal look. I mean, as you can see, she's a gem. And we're gonna go with cedar shingles, preferably like a normal like AZAX trim if that's allowed. Asphalt shingles, not much to be, you know, really questioned there, but I'm more than welcome to answer any questions. We're not gonna change anything in the bottom. We're gonna change the layout a little bit. But other than that, it's, you know, we're staying with, I don't know the exact dimensions. I believe it's about a 23 by 28 foundation, block foundation. We're gonna stay within that means and just try to elevate it so it's a little more accommodating to, you know, today's standards, as I would say.
We do have a Form B inventory form for this property. It was not one that had passed through the commission. It has not been sent on to MHC, but it's one that, at my request, Erica brought in today. And it was an inventory that was done by Jim Gould quite some years ago. And the reason I wanted to mention it, well, first of all, it has a great picture of it. Shows what you might want to achieve someday.
Yep.
You know, that was in a better day, clearly, for the
That was
building
definitely a better
by
day.
far. But on the flip side of that, it discusses the Cape Verdean heritage of the house and its origins. And from a historical significance point of view, I think that's perhaps the most important part of this story for us as a commission. Architecturally, the building is not exemplary of any specific thing, although Jim, quote him in here, the Antone Silva farmhouse follows the style of the turn-of-the-century Azorean Portuguese homes that can be seen in East Falmouth along Brickkiln and Carriage House roads and farther east in Santuit. Typically one room wide and gabled, this appears to have had several additions at both gable ends. And it goes on. But it's not to say that modifications are inappropriate to begin with, they're not. I went by today and one of my reactions, and again, I'm giving a lot of my own personal thoughts on this, but here you go. I'm grateful that you want to be there and keep it and enlarge it and live in it and keep it functional rather than let it turn into toast, because it looks like it's been well on its way to composting ahead of your arrival.
It looks like the big bad wolf could blow it over at any time.
It's also really close to the street.
It is.
And I'm intrigued that you're not going to try and pick it up and move it back for your own sakes, but in a way, keeping it in place is more historically appropriate.
Okay.
And if you can bear with that, I'm not trying to speak out of turn. Anybody thinks I'm saying the wrong thing, jump in, guys. But I like that. As much of the appearance of the facade as you can retain and its original look would probably be appreciated.
Sure.
And I think that's probably doable to some extent.
Yep.
In as much as you're retaining the covered front porch, or what looks like a front porch. It may be incorporated as room space inside. That's beyond our purview. We don't get in your front door. but things of that nature, I think, are defining characteristics of the building. And if Jim was correct, and I have no personal knowledge of Cape Verdean architecture, vernacular folk or otherwise on the Cape, but he was pretty specific in citing it. And I know him well, and I'm gonna guess he was right. Therefore, I kind of elevate the value of that aspect of it a little more than I might otherwise have done. Is there anybody from the public wishing to speak to this at all? No? Any commissioners, your thoughts, comments?
I'm just gonna say that it looks tasteful to me, and I'm grateful that you're living in it, and there you go.
Thank you. Are you in fact living in it now?
No, we actually
That's the
own a
right
house.
answer, by the way. Like I said, I drove by today, I'm
I
going.
love standards.
Made out of rice cakes.
Yeah. No, we obtained a permit
We can
to,
get you a copy.
do a interior demo, and I've been, my wife and I have been there working, doing that, and, just, make sure the structure deems, and it's not a tear down before we go forward.
Absolutely.
Everything looks good inside, some minor stuff here and there. We actually live on Old Oyster Road in Katuitt, and this house will be for actually employees. We own, small businesses and stuff, so
Cool.
so we're looking for, to house employees, but that's a tough market.
I know,
on the Cape.
we all know, it's a very big deal. All righty, any other questions from commissioners at all?
Well, I appreciate the centering the roof lines on that, and losing that salt box.
Yep.
It's much more in keeping with the house.
Thank you.
Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah, the one room wide, as Jim put it, he really meant one room deep, not wide. And a one room deep house is kind of, used to be called a narrow house in some settings down
Sure.
south. It was an economical approach to having a house that wasn't very voluminous or big, and people got away with that or lived with that
Yep.
of necessity for a very long time. We're all about helping people try to keep old buildings and make them useful in the 21st century.
Sure.
Sometimes they're too marginally difficult things to achieve at the same time, but I think it seems to me like it works.
It's actually, it's neat to see it inside and,
Yeah.
so.
Well, I'm glad. No other comments, I'd be happy to entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second?
Seconded.
Second, thank you, Andrew. All in favor of closing the public hearing? Say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None opposed? Public hearing is closed, and we're moving on to reading the motion for 1600 Santuit Newtown Road. Jack, you still on?
Still awake.
You're doing great.
I move that after review and consideration of public testimony of the application and associated materials, the significant building 1600 Santuit Noontown Road, Katuitt, is properly preserved significant building.
Thank you. Second on the motion?
Seconded.
Thank you, Andrew. An aye will impose an 18-month delay, a nay will not impose an 18-month delay. Nancy?
Nay.
Barbara?
Nay.
John Richmond?
Nay.
Jack Kay?
Nay.
Cheryl Powell, not here. Andrew Fisher?
Nay.
Robert Frazee? Nay. Bottom of the page, Jack. It's getting
I
pretty
move that in
routine.
accordance with section 112(3)(f), the Barnstable Historical Commission determines that the partial demolition of the building located 1600 Santuit Newtown Road, Katuitt, is not detrimental to the historical, cultural, and architectural heritage or resources of the town.
Second to that, please.
Seconded.
Thank you, Andrew. An aye vote determines that the partial demolition of the single-family structure is not detrimental, no demolition delay imposed. Nancy Shoemaker.
Aye.
Barbara DiBiase.
Aye.
John Richmond.
Aye.
Jack Kay.
Aye.
Cheryl Powell, absent. Andrew Fisher.
Aye.
Robert Frazee, aye. You're set.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, have a good night.
Good
You
luck.
too.
Thank you.
Yeah, good luck with it.
Thank you.
Enjoy it. All righty. See if I'm remotely keeping track of what's going on here. The word remotely might be appropriate. 48 Danielle Street, to it. Hello. Janet Kearsley, 48 Danielle Street, Katuitt, map 027, parcel 057, built 1910, full demolition, demolish the main dwelling structure. I'd entertain a motion to open the public hearing.
So moved.
In a second. Seconded. All in favor of opening a public hearing, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None? We're in a public hearing. Welcome. Thank you for coming in.
This is an unoccupied, old farmhouse that now has a development around it. And many years ago, we lived in that house. It was in much better condition when we lived in that house. And we moved into one of the houses across the street that's part of the development. And we kept this house, which my husband used as a workshop where he did actually fabulous sculptures, metal sculptures. So at this point, my husband died 2 years ago. And I would like to take this house down now. I'm gifting the property to somebody else, and she plans to take it down and put up a house that is more in keeping with the neighborhood. And that's basically it.
I'm guessing when that occurs, you might take a few of the trees down to make it not visible at the moment, right?
Yeah, it's not, this is not visible.
No,
from
I
the
know,
street.
I drove
Right,
by.
okay. This is not
Had to go by
visible from the
twice to
street.
make sure I was on the right street address, as a matter of fact.
Right.
I
This is set
also,
way back and there's trees in the
yeah,
front.
well, I did the classic GIS map with the town using the historical slider on it. I don't know if you're all familiar with that, but going back quite a ways before Danielle's street was even in place. And there was no road named, it just had a long dirt road all the way out to, is that?
Newtown Road.
It is to Newtown Road, isn't it?
Newtown
Yeah.
Road, right.
And it made me think that it had been affiliated agriculturally with the cranberry bogs. Do you think that was the case?
Yes, it was. It
Okay.
was used as housing for the cranberry
Makes
growers.
sense. I partly got the clue, not just from the proximity and its isolation, the only thing nearby seemed to be the bogs, but
Right.
it looked like through much of its life it had had boggish equipment in the yard.
Right, and it backed
outbuildings.
up to cranberry bogs.
Yeah,
which now
yes,
the town
exactly.
owns. Right.
It's a little odd to ask, but is any of that old equipment still kicking around?
No.
Okay, that's fine. I was gonna say, if it were and you or your next owner were wondering what on earth to do, I was gonna say, try and see if there's someone to donate it to, because it probably is period specific and pretty cool
No,
stuff.
there isn't any.
That's all right. Any questions from commissioners on this? Okay, I can say any members of the public who wish to comment?
This is my neighbor,
Hi.
Bentley, he lives across the street.
Yeah, why don't you sign in, sir, and we're happy to.
I live directly across the street at 45 Daniel
Okay.
Street and have for 40 years,
Good for
since
you.
the neighborhood was built. As far as we're concerned, there's no significant historical significance of this property at all. You can't see it from the road anyways. It would be nice to get something there, get another nice small family. And this is basically a dead-end neighborhood.
Yep.
So it's great for small families. The neighborhood's grown a little old, as I have. So
It's a good thing.
Yeah, well, yeah. So, but it would be nice to get, a nice young family here. I know who's going to be gifted the property, and I think currently renting, and they'd be a great addition to our neighborhood.
It's nice. It's a nice neighborhood.
And I'll just add that person is the daughter of the person who lives next door. So
Oh, great.
it all works out really nicely.
So like a win-win-win. Win? Thank you. That's great. If there are no other questions or comments from the public or commissioners, I'd entertain a motion to close the public hearing. And a second?
Seconded.
Thank you. Moved and seconded to close the public hearing. All in favor, please?
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, the public hearing is closed, and we're back to the lexicon of readings here, Jack. You're doing great.
I'm almost worn out. I got
Well, I
one
don't
more
know.
problem over there.
No, I don't think so.
I'll tag it. And next time.
We have volunteers and we have fresh meat. We're gonna be good.
I move that after review and consideration of public testimony, the application and associated materials, the significant building 48 Daniel Street, which I couldn't find, Katuitt, is a preferably preserved significant building.
Second for the motion?
Seconded.
Thank you. An aye vote will impose an 18-month delay. A nay vote will not impose an 18-month delay. Nancy Shoemaker.
Nay.
Zero Powell not here. Jack Kay.
Nay.
Barbara DiBiase.
Nay.
John Richmond.
Nay.
Andrew Fisher.
Nay.
Robert Frazee. Nay. Bottom of the page again, Jack.
I move that in accordance with section 112, I almost changed the section. 112-3F, the Barnstable Historical Commission determines that the full demolition of the building located 48 Daniel Street, Katuitt, is not detrimental to the historical, cultural, and architectural heritage or resources of the town.
And a second, please.
I'll second it.
Thank you, Nancy. An aye vote determines that the full demolition of the single-family structure is not detrimental and no demolition delay will be imposed. Nancy Shoemaker.
Aye.
Thank you. Cheryl Powell not here. Jack Kay.
Aye.
Barbara DiBiase. John Richmond.
Aye.
Andrew Fisher.
Aye.
Robert Frazee. Aye. You're good to go.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for
Thank
coming
you.
in. I appreciate it very much. If I've been keeping score correctly, which is always open to debate, I believe the nice people from 51 Hawes Avenue are next and last, and thank you for your patience. I appreciated it. I still do. And it's hopefully not going to take very long, but I think yours is a very interesting
Well, thank you.
proposal. It has a little more drama to it than some of them, as I know you will appreciate as well.
Of course.
And consequently, I thought it might take a little more conversation than some of the others, but you never know.
Nah.
Nah. See, there you go.
It would be good.
Last page.
All right, so I would entertain a motion to open the public, wait a minute, I have to read it, don't I? Excuse me so much. Oh, is that it? Where'd we go?
It's the last one, flip it over.
Yep, thank you. I hope I can do it. Thanks, the last one. Jack and Dale Lippert, 51 Hawes Avenue, Hyannis, map 323, parcel 005, built 1940. Partial demolition, raise, parentheses, lift, end parentheses, and reposition the existing dwelling and construct a 1.5-story addition. Existing foundation and roof to be demolished. The renovated and expanded dwelling to be constructed on piles and will include a new roof, windows, siding, etc. Welcome. I entertain a motion to open the public hearing, please.
So moved.
Any second? Second, all in favor of opening a public hearing, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, we are in a public hearing. Welcome. Thank you again for your patience, and we're yours.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Patrick Nickerson. I'm an attorney in Centerville under the law offices of John W. Kenny. To my right is Roy Catagnani of the Conserve Group, who is the project manager of this project. In our notice of application, we submitted photos of the existing residence, which is a 3-bedroom, 1-story dwelling with a hip roof. Dates back to approximately 1940, according to assessor's records. It has frontage on 2 streets, interestingly. Hawes Avenue there from the front, and then a paper street of Whidden Avenue, which really only exists to provide access to the subject property, as well as the second 51 Hawes Avenue, closest to the water, which is also owned by the applicant.
51A, right?
51A,
Yeah.
thank you.
Okay.
Which is also owned by the applicant. We did not find anything substantial in terms of additions to the residence. Since its initial construction, we found a remodel in 1989 with no change to the area. And interestingly, a casualty in 1991 as a result of Hurricane Bob, which removed the roof deck from the neighboring property and flung it into the side of the structure, much to everyone's dismay. The applicant, Jack and Dale Lippert, are seeking your permission for a partial demolition of the structure to, as outlined in our application, to raise, lift, reposition the home, and construct an addition on top of it. The existing foundation and roof would be demolished. Renovated and expanded dwelling would be constructed on piles up to current building codes, include new roof, windows, siding, etc. So if we scroll down to the site plan, you can see the existing conditions here of 51 Hawes Avenue. It has a 7'2" side yard setback, 7.2 front yard setback, 17.6 front yard setback, that one being on Whidden Avenue with the crushed stone.
Will you be retaining the side yard setback that is so narrow on the west side as it is there now?
It's going to actually be improved somewhat. We're proposing to move the structure to the right and back from the street. If you could scroll down to show the proposed setbacks. We are showing an improved 12-foot front setback on Hawes Avenue, 10.4-foot setback on the westerly bound, and a 15-foot setback on the paper street of Whidden Avenue with a 25.7 rear yard setback, which complies with current zoning. So if you take a look at our materials, we also submitted proposed elevations plans, which show the relative floor heights. Let's see, if we scroll over a little bit to the right, or maybe reduce the size of the document. Okay, great. So approximate grade is found to be about 12 feet below sea level, I guess, from the plan. And then first floor will be set at 0, in accordance with current building code. Second floor will be set at 10 foot, 1 inch. And the loft plate would be at 20 feet. In Barnstable, when you're measuring for building height, typically you're looking at the average grade, and you have a maximum of 30 feet to the top plate in most zones, except where you're in a flood zone, in which case the current interpretation from the building department is to measure from the top of the VE zone, not from the average grade, because otherwise you would have habitable space within the flood zone itself, potentially. So
That's an interesting point for us to all appreciate as a commission, as a learning item, which is one of the other reasons I want to share with you why I saved you till last.
Okay, great.
Sorry, at your expense do that, but it accrues to everyone's benefit in the long run.
So we are within 5 feet, 5 feet under the maximum height as defined in the ordinance, building height being measured from, in this case, the top of the VE zone to the top of the plate, being the loft. We did also submit some floor plans, I believe, showing what the premises would look like. Although it's not generally within the purview of the interior, we thought give you the information to see what the shell of the existing structure would look like. Is that, oh, you know what, Erica, that might be in the, there it is. There it is. So the shaded area in the middle there is essentially the existing footprint. So we're going to lift the house, relocate it, improve 2 of the non-conforming setbacks on Hawes Avenue and the westerly bound, relocate it. Underneath would be unfinished underground, not underground, I'd say below floor level garage with elevator because no one's getting any younger. Carrying all the groceries up the stairs is not something, well, it's something that becomes more and more daunting, right, as we get older. And then there would be a second floor with a loft space, and that should be on the next page there, Erica. In discussions with Mr. Catagnani, there's been a slight change to the interior footprint so that phase 1 would not include any finished space in the loft. Actually, the elevator would not reach this level. It would only be accessible through a pull-down stairwell. So it really wouldn't be habitable space as intended.
Storage attic.
The phase 1. Possibly in the future, you could add storage and a view. So that really summarizes the project, what we're hoping to do with the property. There are some properties that are going through similar style rebuilds at 31 Hawes Avenue and 65 Hawes Avenue have both gotten quite taller since their origin, mostly because of the VE zone. So
yeah, you're not yourselves the initial trendsetter, which is possibly helpful. Because it's a pretty shocking change for the eye to contemplate without the education, which is kind of the point.
It's also not an as-of-right project. We will need approval from the Zoning Board of Appeals in the form of a special permit when you're altering a legal pre-existing non-conforming structure within certain 20-foot setbacks from the street. So this is all subject to Zoning Board of Appeals approval as well. Conservation approval was obtained in the last month?
Yes.
And I'm assuming this is a street that will be sewered in the early phases and things like that.
It's served now.
It is sewered.
Is it sewered presently? Oh, that's great. I didn't realize that. That makes sense even more. But otherwise, you're adding a lot of volume and living space, and I knew that that would come up at some point if it hadn't.
Yes.
Okay. So I drove through today. Probably some of you have also. There are at least 2, if not 3 or 4 houses within a few blocks of this that have already undertaken similar elevated modifications. I'm thinking most of them because someone wanted to modify the building and it was just enough to trigger the threshold for requiring the elevation change, but it's also, if you're putting a big investment in a building, maybe the only smart way to approach it. Erica, and I thank you for doing it, included in our packet for reading the Cape Cod Commission's guidelines on, I forget the exact title, but the point is helping understand how best to address sea level rise with historic buildings as well as all other kinds of buildings. I went through and picked off the, a quick search with just the word historic in it to save me from having to do a close read of 123 pages. But yeah, but it's pretty concise on the historic. And I would add, this conforms to all of the things that are advised as guidelines and alternatives. It's not a historically significant building nor an architecturally significant building outside, I think, of the context that in its style, it's proper for the period and it matches many of the other homes, cottages in the neighborhood that were built around the same time. So it's important that it fits its context now, but it's part of a newer context that's evolving, and it's evolving somewhat of a necessity. And there's going to be some gray zone between what's necessary and what's resulting from a choice by the owner to optimize the square footage or volume or whatever, and that's not our ballpark here, but I just want to say I think we understand that. Commissioners, do you have any thoughts or questions about this?
Can you go back to the first picture of the original house?
Yeah, I will say it would be hard to find the original house in the new one.
Yeah.
And we've had that comment, from several people today about things. And so if the building were historically or architecturally significant in its own right, I would be having a heart attack over what you're doing and preferring that you pick it up and move it somewhere and build a new house if you could. I don't know how much the existing footprint enables you to do what you want to do. And I know there's always some of that, but I'm saying this partly out loud again from the educational point of view. We're going to see more of these things approaching us, and one of these days we're going to be faced with a historically or architecturally significant building, and we're going to have to worry about it in a different way than we have so far. We've had a couple of these now. And actually, this might be our
one
second.
of the houses that are raised is actually in this photograph.
Yeah, I think you're right. Thank you. That's exactly right.
Fairly recent, just finished.
Is that the one on the marsh?
It's right on the waterfront. It's 2 doors down from this.
Number 65, we think, based on.
There's also one diagonally across, right over this direction. If you happen to have to Google it, Earth, you can show it.
Are you using helical piles?
We're going to probably use concrete formed and reinforced piers buried down to the scour depth that's required.
Are you driving them or drilling?
No, because we have to preserve the home, so we have to really essentially crib it up.
Yeah, you can't get
under
over the
there with
piles.
little bobcats, form and cast these piles, create the horizontal connection structure, and then put it back down. So we have to preserve it, and then we'll remove the roof and structurally add a floor on top, which will preserve the structure. So the structure will still be there.
You have to have a conversation with the owner of number A in front and see if they want to help anchor the building for the next Hurricane Bob so it doesn't wash into your lovely
maybe.
new home.
Well, that's the same ownership.
I know, that's why I'm being a little tongue-in-cheek saying it, but it does raise some questions about the orchestration of events in not just these 2 lots, but your adjoining neighbors have some interesting questions to contend with
All
too.
in velocity zone, and it's subject to wave action.
Yes.
So, sadly, part of the height is just to create the flow through.
I know.
So that what looked like a parking garage is no more than just open air, except there's slats with spaces. So it's really
it's a wash through.
It's a wash through, yeah.
That take you out of the FEMA?
Yes, you have to be out of it from a vertical perspective.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
In order to make it happen, there's a lot of, a bevy of other rules beyond. And of course, energy conservation. There's just so many now that we have to comply with. So.
I want to know who your insurance company is going to be.
Yeah. Well, honestly, I think it's a safe place once it's done correctly.
Oh, I agree with that. No, I didn't mean to imply otherwise. I'm just knowing how difficult it is to keep or get new insurance all up and down the coast already.
Now.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's all.
That's
Any
where
other?
the driver is
Sure.
Insurance is driving all this.
Sure. Any other questions or comments, commissioners? We didn't have any public comment on this, I don't think. did we?
I think we're gonna see, first of all, I think everybody down there has to raise their house if they wanna
Yeah.
keep it. And so we're gonna see a lot more of this. And it's already happening. It's not like, we said, it's not like you're the first guys to do it, and you're certainly not gonna be the last guys to do it.
No, that's right.
We might even see you again for another one.
Maybe.
They happen.
So anyway, that's all.
Yeah, no, I
I'm not
appreciate it,
saying
John. I think
disapprove
that's
it or
correct.
anything, just.
With this, not this house, but the one in front, which isn't the topic of this, but also one of the ones that we reviewed previously on South Main Street. It crossed my mind, and I shared this with Erica, to wonder occasionally to offer out the concept of if a building is going to either be substantially demolished or moved at great expense, if its present setting or footprint doesn't legitimize the next event, to encourage owners to see if Housing Assistance Corp or someone could move it to a new location and provide some affordable housing for somebody. And also, it's a win-win because we get to keep the old building up. I like to put it out there as a little broadcast point for people who might stumble across the opportunity to suggest that to an owner. And it's a public good if it occurs, that's all. If there are no other comments, I'd entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
I move that we close the public
And a
hearing.
second, please. Second, all in favor of closing the public hearing, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? I see none. Public hearing is closed. Jack, what do you think? Or are we gonna go to somebody new?
Does Andrew wanna do it?
Andrew, you wanna go? You're on. Thank you, sir.
I move that after review and
Oh, what?
consideration of public testimony.
Andrew's gonna do it.
Andrew,
I'm sorry.
knock me off the stool.
No, that's fine.
I thought that we would.
Yeah, he was complaining, and you're right. Go for it.
He's getting tired.
I move that after review and consideration of public testimony, the application and associated materials, the significant building, 51 Hawes Avenue, Hyannis, is a preferably preserved significant building.
And a second for that motion?
I'll second that.
Thank you very much. An aye vote imposes an 18-month delay. A nay vote will not impose an 18-month delay. Nancy Shoemaker.
Nay.
Barbara DiBiase.
Nay.
John Richmond.
Nay.
Jack Kay.
Hey,
Cheryl Powell, absent. Andrew Fisher.
Nay.
Robert Frazee, nay. Andrew, bottom of the page, sir.
I move that in accordance with section 112-1F, this 3F, the Barnstable Historical Commission determines that the partial demolition of the building located at 51 Hawes Avenue, Hyannis, is not detrimental to the historical, cultural, and architectural heritage or resources of the town.
A second for that motion,
I'll
please.
second that.
Thank you, Nancy. An aye vote determines that the partial demolition of the single-family structure is not detrimental and no demolition delay is imposed. Nancy Shoemaker.
Aye.
Barbara DiBiase.
Aye.
John Richmond.
Aye.
Jack Kay.
aye.
Cheryl Powell, absent. Andrew Fisher.
Aye.
Robert Frazee, aye. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good to go. Thank you for
Appreciate
one last time for your patience for seeing this all through.
It is different, it's a different landscape. I grew up here, I mean, the houses.
Oh, it's a whole different world, almost no matter where you look, but
Yeah.
especially the nearer the water you get, you know.
Nothing to do, this is, a little bit of the outside influences. by
Sure.
federal government particularly. Thank
Oh,
you.
there's a lot in there.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, you too. Okay, I want to just, again, I'm going to skip around just a little bit. We do not have any minutes to approve, so that's not happening tonight. That's fine. Correspondence, we have one piece of correspondence. The Cape Cod Commission transmitted a time-clocked receipt for the DRI request or referral for 49 Putnam Avenue. I believe a copy of that was in the correspondence for you to all read. The significant thing in my mind is that October 28th is the commission, Cape Cod Commission's deadline for holding the initial public hearing. So presumably before or by that time, they will do so. And we, as a commission, are an interested party among several others in the town and will receive public notice of that. I believe we'll also receive notice of the timing when the applicant has completed their application package, which is very similar to what they applied with for us, but slightly different. And they have to supply a complete new package for the Cape Cod Commission. I don't know if that's in yet, but I don't think so. And so they can't schedule a hearing date until that is occurring. I spoke with Sarah Korjeff about this at some length. We had a great phone conversation about a week and a half ago, which I initiated because I wanted her spin on you know, what happens next, because she's obviously informed us about the referral process. And I was being gently barraged by people from the village of Katuitt interested in knowing what they could do and what happens next and when will it happen, and I totally get that, and I appreciate their enthusiasm and passion. There's not much they can do other than writing letters and public comment to the Cape Cod Commission, and I just want to say out loud, that is eminently doable. If it is done electronically or by US snail mail, please note for 49 Putnam Avenue, Katuitt in the subject line at the top of the correspondence, so there's no chance it would get misfiled. And it will then be shuttled on to the appropriate party collecting the materials for that first hearing. And a restatement of some of the things that have already been said probably does no harm, but if we get new voices or new comments, I think it's all to the good. She reassured me, and Erica has forwarded to her, I think, right, directly, Sarah, the Laserfiche link for the public comments that were submitted for our hearing. And those do automatically become part of the database for the Cape Cod Commission hearing as well. So I find that kind of reassuring because there was so much. Also, she said that their IT person would cherry pick the 49 Putnam Avenue segment of our video from our August hearings and make that available to the commission doing the hearing, which is very helpful. And she had not yet seen it, but she was going to watch it as well. I think that's the main holding and takeaway from that conversation with her. I want to add that she, much to my cheerful horror, cheerful on her behalf and horror on all of ours, is retiring from the Cape Cod Commission after all these years. She's been there almost 30 years. On October 16th, I think that's her last day. She's not disappearing, but she's not going to be accessible through them in the same way.
So she might be gone before the hearing?
Yeah. Whether she's out of touch regarding being accessible for the sake of the hearing, I didn't raise that question with her. She shared with me that news before she had published it in her email, because we had the conversation earlier, and I didn't feel I wanted to be pushy about that aspect, but it's a good question, and I don't know. She has been expecting this for a while because she's been planning for it, and she's been training her coworkers, 2 of them specifically named in her email, to help fill in where she has been working on historic preservation matters in these past years, and she feels pretty good about that. She also said the commission either is or will in the future, in all probability, advertise the position, but she said, you know, the qualifications are a little challenging and it's hard to find somebody who's going to just rush to respond. So they're trying to plug the holes, if that's the right term, for the short term at least, and I think they're doing a good job with that.
So can I ask you, because this is new territory for me. So when they hold a public hearing, is it like ours? Do people come to it, or can they only?
Thank you for asking. Good question. I asked her somewhat the same thing. She said, typically the Cape Cod Commission likes to hold its initial hearing, at least, she said, in the town where the property is situated. She said town. She didn't say village. I didn't correct her. I don't know if she means Katuitt versus Barnstable. And I almost corrected her because I said, well, so it's in Barnstable, therefore maybe they'll hold it at one of the hearing rooms at the Cape Cod Commission offices. And she said, well, yeah, they might, but she didn't think that was what they meant when they said that. She thought they meant off their campus if it was the in-person meeting. She said the other possibility is that it may either be a hybrid meeting or it may be just a virtual meeting. It may not be an in-person meeting. That will all be part of what's advertised in the notice for the meeting, and people will have plenty of warning to decide whether they're going to Zoom in or show up in person or write something or what have you. And I've been to both of those kinds of meetings over the last few years since COVID with the commission, and they all work. They are not, as a commission or a committee, typically forgiving of people like me who get long-winded, and they do shut them off. So if you're going to speak either in the Zoom or in person, just prepare your remarks and keep them brief.
I have another question.
Yep.
If this hearing goes against the Realty Trust,
yep,
as sometimes happens, I'm told, in the historic district on 6A, it could be followed by legal action. Okay, it could wind up in the courts. So if that were to happen, let's just say, okay. All right, I'll use myself as an example. Say I was to express myself in the public hearing as being opposed to what they want to do at 49 Putnam Avenue.
Mhm.
And then they go to court, they could, I think, conceivably say, well, obviously, this commissioner was against us from the beginning, and that could cause a problem.
Oh, but
I
if
don't
you
know
were, it
if
would
this
not have
is-
been without cause. I mean, all of the explications of opinions were pretty explicit during our hearing, as was true of the letter writers as correspondents, you know, and some more outspoken on personal levels than others, but the facts were pretty well presented in most of those letters as well. I don't think that's a detriment or downside, but I'm not a legal person or
You know
counsel,
what
I don't know.
In some ways, we're more vulnerable or public. I feel like it's different for us.
Well, a lot of things are different for us because we represent the town and we're sworn in as you know, upholding the historic resources and cultural values of the town. It's a whole different thing than
And just
a civilian
Joe
member of
Blow,
the public who can just, they can't quite say whatever they want, I guess, although maybe they can. It's brave new
only on
world we're in.
Barnstable and official. But.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm sorry, Erica, it looked like you had some thoughts there.
No, I was just gonna say that if you're concerned about that, maybe reaching out to the legal department might be an avenue you could take, or the attorney of the day.
That's a good suggestion. Thank you. Oh, I appreciate that.
And I think there's, the background information of having the last meeting videotaped.
It gives it context,
Yes, it does.
which is helpful.
Yeah, I'm sorry, that's.
I did ask Sarah, so how does this go? What happens? And she said, well, you know, there can be negotiations. It may be that Mass Historical Commission and the Cape Cod Commission and the applicant will throw some mud against the wall of ideas and midway suggestions, and maybe they'll come up with something that the parties could tentatively agree to, but she didn't have any specific ideas of what that would be, and nor do I. And she said, honestly, her opinion is that if it is the decision of the commission that this is, that the proposed move is not approvable, it's a flat out no. And our building commissioner is not empowered thereafter to issue a permit to move it. Whether that then would instigate the legal action you suggest, I don't know. She and I didn't get into that. It was more along the lines of so does that mean it's just gonna sit there and it's got an unhappy owner and either they put it on the market, or if they don't wanna put it on the market, they just let it compost for a while? That would be a shame too. I mean, there are a lot of things in play here that we all know about, and we can't imagine what will actually occur. We're gonna have to wait and see. We're gonna have to hope that there's a little minor miracle between now and the end of the commission hearing, I think, that brings parties together in a way that's sufficiently meaningful that preserves the building in situ. That's what I think. That's what I hope for. I think that's what Katuitt is hoping for. But I wanna move on if we
Sure,
can.
no,
But that's the gist of it. And we're gonna have a hard time coming across a more important topic or hearing with this commission, I think, in my own experience. Do you wanna do elections or meeting schedule?
That is up to you.
All right. We have been bypassing doing an election of officers here for several meetings, and we're a little derelict in that. We're missing one member, and I regret that, but I think we would be wise to see if we could elect officers anyway, having a quorum and having most of the candidates in the room who I think would be willing to be an officer if anyone were, just because Cheryl, being the only person absent, I know is tremendously overburdened with work schedules, and I can't imagine her already chairing another commission as well, wanting to, or being able to step forward, so. I want this to take a short time. I'm not thrilled being a commission chairperson, just because it's a little stressful and it takes a lot of time. I'm willing to keep doing it if you want. I'm hoping Nancy would be willing to continue as vice chair.
I would, yeah,
And
for now.
I'm open to any nominations of this group, and we can have a vote on each of those positions. And also, I want to bring up the subject of clerk, and Jack and I spoke about this a little bit before the meeting, and I believe we discussed this with Cheryl and with Councilor Bloom in the back corner there at the end of the last meeting with respect to the responsibilities of the clerk and the operations of meetings such as ours, where it may well be that the clerk's role, in addition to reviewing the draft minutes and helping bring them to a point where they can be voted on for approval at a subsequent meeting, will also be the one taking the roll call votes at our meetings, which is not a big problem. I mean, in the room anyway, it's almost like reading the motions. It's the same idea, except probably it can't be the same person doing that, at least not at the same moment. So I want to say, anybody else want to play these games? Do we have anybody who's interested in being clerk?
I'm tapped.
No, so your so how is your appointment with CPC progressing? Is it still waiting? It is?
No.
You've been appointed?
I have been appointed.
Oh, congratulations.
I was sworn in,
Phew.
and I actually went to my first meeting yesterday.
Awesome. If we can do anything to help you, support you, answer questions, if you feel you're on thin ice with something that comes up, pick up a phone. I mean,
Okay.
don't be bashful
Thank
about
you.
that at all. No, I really mean that, because
Provide some research.
yeah, I mean, we can research something with or for you if you have a conundrum, you don't know how to, feel about a thing. I mean, ideally representing us, your expertise is of a historical nature, but you get to vote on all kinds of things.
Indeed.
Indeed, and I know you know this. But
Knowledge base is
well, there's a lot
expanding.
going on there. It's a really valuable committee.
It
It's
is.
remarkable. So, all right. So, John or Andrew, are either of you remotely interested in any of these three jobs?
Well, I just beg you to continue as committee.
Yeah, really.
Beg me. Nobody needs to beg anybody to do anything.
And I don't need to be the vice chairman.
So, I guess I don't want to ever be in a position of having to take the minutes.
Well, taking the minutes is, I
And
think.
Erica is doing that.
That's an Erica staff position.
That's
I think
part of
that's
it.
how that works.
Okay.
You would, as clerk, you would be reviewing her draft minutes and advising her if you saw any errors, omissions, whatever. Much as we as a group have been doing without a clerk, we have been the clerk if we spotted something before it comes in to be voted on and an amendment is made, and then the final draft is what we vote on. So that's still a process. It's not really a huge headache. The minutes, we've all voted on them. They're not usually more than a couple of pages. Sometimes they're 3, 4, would you say?
3 or 4. They
Like
might
for-
get a
for
little
to-
bit lengthier.
Yeah, I mean, for today, there's a lot of hearings, so,
Yeah.
there's a certain amount of stuff there. It doesn't just record the vote, it records some of the gist of the conversation as well. So I'm kind of back to wondering, do I have any?
If it would help, I would be clerk. I don't know how you feel about it, doing it. I mean, I don't want to take anything.
Still only a few months into this whole thing. I feel like that might be outside my purview of.
That's fine. That's a very fair answer, Andrew, but we don't overlook you. You're welcome to, get your oar in if and when you feel like it, is what I think everybody in the room wants you to understand.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay? So I would entertain a nomination for John Richmond as clerk.
I would make that nomination.
I'll second
And could we,
it.
and we have a
And you
second?
as chair.
Well, let's do one office at a
One
time.
at a time, right?
One office at a time.
Conditional, it's a conditional
Yeah,
nomination.
no, easy guys. So, we have that nomination in and seconded. And I don't foresee any additional nominations from the floor. I'm, as chair, going to say I'm going to close nominations, and I would entertain a vote in favor of John Richmond as clerk. All in favor, say aye.
I
Any opposed? John, it's unanimous.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Your pay will be doubled.
Well, and
It will be, right?
and if there's anything any of us can do to be helpful in it,
It
obviously.
doesn't sound terrible.
I don't think it is, I really don't, but I just want to say, if you,
If it is, I'll quit.
no, if it is, you call us. You don't get to quit that fast. All right, Vice Chair, Nancy, yes, you'd be willing?
Be willing, but if anybody else wants
Does
to.
anybody else want to be Vice Chair? The Vice Chair's role is a little different right now than it was for the last year or so, where I, as chair, would, when I was still doing chair determinations, pretty much every time would reach out to Nancy, and there were always two heads in the room making those. We're not doing that now, which I think is fine, by the way. We may stumble on it somewhere along the way, but I think it's fine. But that's one less thing for a vice chair to do for the time being, at least. But if I get hit by a bus or go on vacation, or get a tummy ache in the middle of a hearing, you, as vice chair, are the person who would typically pick up running the meeting. That's just, and it's just a parliamentary exercise when it comes to that. You all know the routine. You know it better than I know it.
Well,
'cause you've
used
been
to
doing
you
it for-
doing that.
I can always get sick at the 5 minutes later too, you know.
Well, let's not start passing the plate
Okay,
around. That's
all
not a
right.
good idea.
Well, Nancy jumped in when we lost.
Nancy Clark,
Yes.
that's correct. That's exactly right. And I don't think it was your first time as vice chair even then, or chair even then.
I was
You've been
chair for a while, a couple of different.
Yeah, a couple of, that's what I was
situations,
remembering as well. So if she's willing and if the rest of you would like to nominate Nancy Clark as vice chair, I think I would.
I would do so.
I mean, Nancy Shoemaker. Wow.
She passed.
We'll hold a seance for the other one. Oh, that's too bad. Well, anyway, yes. Did I hear a nomination from the floor for this nice lady to be vice chairperson?
I nominate Nancy Shoemaker to be vice chair.
I'll second it.
Nomination and seconded. Could I ask for all in favor of that?
Aye.
Any opposed? You're it.
No, I'm not opposed. Okay.
And you need to work out holding a vote for chair. It seems odd for me to chair.
I
a meeting.
nominate Robert Frazee for chair.
I'll do the second on that.
Maybe the vice chair should offer should hold the vote.
I mean, as the clerk, roll call.
Oh, you could step up and do that.
Okay. And we can do it, all right, so in favor, Andrew Fisher,
Aye.
Aye.
Barbara,
Aye.
Nancy,
Aye.
Jack.
Aye.
Motion is carried.
I
And
get to
you.
vote too.
Aye.
Aye. It's unanimous. All right, thank you, guys. I'm glad to have that off our list of things on every agenda. 2026 meeting schedule has two components. Are we okay with time? We are still. It has two components to it. One is
Zooming.
the dates, right? The other is when we Zoom and when we don't. The dates, I think, are pretty straightforward and easy, and I just whizzed through them. I don't see any, oh my God, that's awfully close to a holiday. Could we do it a week earlier, a week later kind of isms? We haven't had that happen in a while. I mean, that's.
Yeah, the third Tuesdays usually are pretty good.
Yeah, I think it's fine that way. So the question is Zoom or no Zoom? And my guess is all of us prefer an in-person meeting.
I do.
Yes.
I think they're better meetings. I think we all feel that way. However.
You're on mute. You're on mute.
Yeah, I know. Then there's that, right? There are a couple of issues about Zoom meetings. Well, there's one big issue about Zoom meetings that I just heard today, and that is if we have an agenda as full as this was today, it's probably logistically too many people in the room, meaning the Zoom room, to be vetted correctly into the room from a security and statistical digital point of view to make it viable. And I don't know what we do about that. We are under some limitations about the time by which we have to hold hearings. Would it maybe mean that we would have to hold an occasional second hearing in a month? We need to explore what's needed to do that, but this came up briefly the day we decided we would bring all things to public hearings, right? And we were exploring what that would mean. Barbara?
A question.
Yes.
We went to Zoom because of a governmental option to do so.
Mm-hmm.
Is that still in place, and when,
Yeah.
when
That's
does
been
that end?
extended until the summer of 2027, I believe.
Yeah,
Wow.
so it's still a very viable option.
Okay.
I'm just saying the downside of doing them, if we choose to do them, the downside is we might need to have a second hearing in a month when we would have more people in a room for the one hearing in the month than we can manage.
Well, I'd like to point out that like in the case of Putnam Avenue, just one item produced more people than you could have. So that potential.
It's true.
Is there.
We had that happen at 43 Iono Road, or Iono Ave in Hyannisport as well. I mean, I don't think they had quite as many, but it was getting close.
I don't know what their capacity is.
And that's a fair question.
And I would just,
So we can.
Sort of a different question, Jack, don't you go away?
Yeah, so I'm just gonna come back to that for sure. I'm not trying to leave Jack out of it. I just want to round out the conversation because there are a couple other things like the ones we just talked about we haven't considered previously. I don't think we have to vote on this today. I just want us thinking through all of the aspects of it. If we have a couple of questions, maybe a question would be to the back room to say, you know, what is viable, what is not, and see what we can do
This
about it.
year,
Yes.
were we scheduled to be on Zoom as of October or November?
November will be our first.
October, we're still in person.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
We do have a time restriction on the next, because this room is booked at 6 p.m. on that.
Right,
And
so we
the
still
Board of
have-
Health is in the hearing room, so we can't move
Right.
to the hearing room.
So we still have 2 hours, and
Yeah.
we're doing pretty well today compared to what I thought was gonna happen, so it proves it's possible. And I like that. I'm sorry I tangled with Steve Cook a little bit. I got his point totally. I started manuscript rearranging this in front of everyone. I shouldn't have done that. I should have just done it once and let it be, but I had a couple of specific requests from applicants, and I'm trying to keep it a friendly business, want to be as obliging as I can be, and I don't want to do it by stepping on other people's toes, so we'll get there.
So can we decide, say, this month for next month, as an example, whether we go Zoom or live?
No,
It's not a month-to-month.
I think it has to be published, right?
Yeah, it does. We have to have it published, and this, like, the schedule's up on the website, so it is what everybody sees. So to change it month to month is just not a viable solution.
Yeah, that's why I have a question of whether we can add a meeting in sort of ad hoc, as opposed to Cheryl and Jack's commission for the Hyannis Main Street Waterfront Historic District. They meet twice a month. Old Kings Highway meets twice a month. They do that because they typically have big agendas, because they have so many things that they get their fingers into of necessity and by regulation. We have less of that. Ours will be more because we have either a big deal like Putnam Ave or Irving Ave, or we have a lot of hearings, which we had today. So
Is there a hybrid model available where we can meet live and
Hybrid
Jack
is-
can call in from?
I brought that up as a part of a comment I made on videotape for the local comprehensive planning committee a summer ago, and unknowingly kind of put the heat on our AV department, and I apologize again for that. I didn't think of it, but it's a very big burden on them for staff and finance to accommodate additional hybrid venues than are now in existence in the town as it is. The only other hybrid location I'm familiar with, other than our main meeting room, is the Airport Commission. And I don't know if that's an alternative for us to meet in, but
I don't believe so. For example, Airport Commission's meeting today at 4 p.m.
So there you go.
So, the other thing about it is I believe the only other hybrid meeting that the town holds is town council. That's it.
Yeah, that's what I was referring to, meaning the other room. Oh, so it's not other meetings in that room, it's just the town
It's
council
just the
meeting
town
in that room.
council.
I get it, okay, thank you for that clarification. So it's not a straightforward thing. In an ideal world, Councilor Bloom, in an ideal world, we would superfund our AV department and support them hugely so that we would have hybrid meetings and asynchronous participation, virtual participation available to a vast array of the demographic of our town of Barnstable, so we would have no shortage of commission members, no shortage of meeting attendees, no shortage of multi-generational input. All of the demographics would be in the room, not just on Barnstable Unofficial, but everywhere they want to be part of our government. I see that as a long-term goal, but I don't think it's gone away. I respect the obstacles, but I hope the obstacles can go away by bringing in whatever is needed to do it helpfully.
Just take the money away from the traffic plan, be fine.
Yeah, I know, but, you know, it's everything.
Take it away from the sewer guys, they don't need them.
No, see, that's the thing. It's like competing for a mooring space on the water sheet, right? And everybody wants some, and it's hard to divvy it up. I don't want to belabor this.
That was facetious.
I don't think there's any value in voting on the dates without voting on the other part, is there?
No, we can wait until October. That's
Okay,
fine.
so let's agree that we're going to wrestle this to the ground in October.
All of this next month.
Next meeting, yep, and we'll try and find out what our options are for holding a second meeting in a month if we had to. And all of you be thinking about the Zoom, no Zoom, not hybrid, but, virtual versus in-person meeting. Jack, at the moment, that's principally you, but, tomorrow's a new day. We could have an alternate brought to our commission and, might be that they would be in the same situation you're in. I think it's important that seasonal residents have access to this, if that's a possibility. I mean, I don't want to narrow the pool, I want to broaden it, and I think that's good for every commission.
You're here next month?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
When do you go away?
You shouldn't say that in public.
I actually come back every month for
You
for
told me
Hines
that,
Main
yeah.
Street.
Mhm.
Okay.
So if you have the middle of the month, I get both meetings. Because this is usually the middle of the month.
Yeah, pretty close, that's right.
So the Zoom worked great when it was there. When it wasn't, I usually come back from Main Street anyway, so I'm gonna be here.
Well, something for you to think about is if we went to in-person only for the next calendar year that we publish, what would you forecast to be your absence rate or your inability rate? And you can't hold you to it, you need to think about it. You don't have to tell us now, just
I'm not getting any younger.
Well, none of us is, right? Well, after 2024, we all decided this was a pretty dangerous business. The only dark humor of the day is that. But it's still sideline
I
true.
have one historical.
I think that's the point of the agenda, other than adjournment. Did I miss anything else?
No.
That's a record. That's
So
good.
there is a
So just to be
historical
clear, we're meeting there in October.
Yes.
On
What's your
this
historical
Sunday, I don't remember if it's 1 or 1:30, I should have looked at it, at Lothrop Hill Cemetery on Route 6A in Barnstable Village. There will be a tour of the Lothrop Hill Cemetery. And it's the cemetery on the Cape with the most gravestones from the 1600s. And we also have gotten the town to put other plaques down, stone plaques on the ground with the beautiful old, and most of them in very good condition, stones, markers. So it's easy to find them, but it's also fun to come to the tour of the graveyard and hear some interesting stories. Like the aviator who flew with the Wright brothers.
I attended your tour of Cobb Hill Cemetery a summer or two ago, and that was really interesting. If we can make it, we will, I'm sure. Yeah, there's some good residents in there.
Yeah.
Governors and all that. Any other historical, cultural announcements for the next month coming up that we know of? As I said earlier, the e-news from the town is pretty helpful, picking up a lot of things like that. And if you have something that you want announced, pretty often if you send that information in to Lynn Poyant or whoever works for her doing that assembly and editing, I'm sure you'll see it promoted.
We're showing you we're ready to end our meeting.
I'm entertaining a motion to adjourn.
I move.
A second?
Motion.
Seconded.
All in favor of adjournment?
Aye.
Any opposed? Good, we are adjourned. Thank you all.